Wife cheated. Once she passes, can I tell the spouse of the other party? This happened a couple of years ago. Wife 55 had a friend from her early 20s who was from UK, call him Graham. During this time Graham was dating the wife's childhood best friend. All three remained friends and the wife went to the UK visit him and his family in her late 30s. Edit: the best friend above is not Graham's wife. I did tell the best friend and she didn't really care because that was 30 years ago and she is over the guy and happily married to someone not in this story. We got married in her 40s and I was introduced to Graham and family virtually and our families exchanged Christmas cards and once in a while I would hear some story about what Graham and family are up to. Fast forward 14 years and in 2017, she is diagnosed with a cancer that is stage 4. Our relationship wasn't in a good place before this happened. Fast forward to late 2018, she decides she is going to London with a girlfriend for a girls' trip before they start a heavier round of chemo. She said she reached out to Graham for tips on what to do. Long story short, I found out they had started essing before the trip and arranged for him to be in London with a hotel room when she lands. They smashed and then kept up the essing when she got home for another month. When I uncovered what happened, I found the digital evidence, chat logs, pictures and videos. Given her situation, I forgave her. We tried for another year, but the marriage was too broken, so we separated. At the time I uncovered the cheating, I was going to tell Graham's wife, which started my wife pleading to not destroy his marriage. In an effort to keep the peace, I agreed to not tell his wife. My agreement didn't dampen my feeling that Graham's wife should know and make her own decisions. The plan swimming around in my head is once the wife passes, I will reach out to Graham's wife and ask if she wants to know where her husband was Jan 19, 2019 and why I know what he did that day. If she chooses to remain in the dark, I wouldn't tell her. Wibta for going back on my word after she passes and telling Graham's wife and sending her the digital records I collected. Redditor's reactions. Next story after. Redditor 1, she played you, buddy. Played you hard. But, I'd do it now while she's alive and can confirm with the AP's wife and answer any questions she might have. As a cancer survivor myself, I'm not giving her a pass. Op answer, FYI, I'm not back her and never will be. Just trying to figure out if and when I tell his wife. Redditor 2, do not wait until she passes. Tell Graham's wife now. She deserves closure and the chance to have it out with her childhood best friend who betrayed her. Depriving her of that and leaving her feeling helpless and lost in the aftermath would be monumentally unfair. If Graham didn't want to destroy his marriage, he shouldn't have cheated on his wife. Op answer, my struggle is we have a kid and he spends 1-2 his week with me, another 1-2 with her. He has autism and we are working through major behavioral issues. It has taken me months to get her to be a mom and share info etc. that I can leverage with his doctors. We have created a kind of a drama-free zone. I'm concerned if I make the call to Graham's wife, I will end up dealing with her anger and the next few months will be painful and impact my son. I appreciate all of the advice. I have played this out so much in my head and wanted other viewpoints. Redditor 3, don't wait till she passes, send his wife the evidence. Give his wife the opportunity to? Your wife if she feels she isn't getting the answers from Graham. Story 2, WW is incredibly ducking stupid. I've been suspecting my wife 32 has been running around on me for the last couple of months, but it was all gut feeling and no proof. She exhibited some of the normal signs like diet changes, beauty regimen changes, makeup every day and showers every day, where those were more sparingly before, and of course hiding the phone screen etc. All that being said, however, I didn't really put it together until she gave me the I need space talk. She spent a week with no contact from me at her parents' house. Her parents and I are very close, so I basically begged her mom to tell me that I was wrong in my assumptions. Of course Mill obliged me, but unbeknownst to me Mill confronted her without any hard evidence as to the affair, and of course WW didn't need any wrongdoing. The next day WW jumped me and told me she was filing for divorce before she stopped liking me as a person and that she would never do such a thing. Of course I was devastated, but tried to just maintain my dignity by not crying and begging too much for her to reconsider and got out of there. The next day the questions kept rolling over in my mind until I grabbed her last phone, which she had of course thrown in a drawer and promptly forgot about. Once open I saw FB Messenger was still logged in and the AP that I had suspected was of course at the top of the list. There was no conversation between them before the divorce confrontation, almost as if she had been systematically deleting the messages. However, there was a couple of days of him sending her cringy boomer-s time memes he's 50 and her replying with poop like him and yes please. Fighting back the urge to vomit, I documented everything that I could and even found her history still showed all of the campy love songs that I assumed they had shared with her because she rarely watches videos. The most egregious in her history was Secret Lovers by Atlantic Star. She watched something like a week before our anniversary. Now a little backstory on AP. He is a now retired police officer for a department that my wife has had to work closely with for about 3 years now. He's apparently a real dickhead because he was pretty much ostracized by the other officers. My silly wife took pity on him, however, because his wife is very sick with cancer, I know, right? Even going so far as to throw him his retirement party and getting him a plaque and some other poop that now, if I think of it, makes my stomach churn. That all being said, I have packed all of her poop and she's basically just capitulated to everything that I wanted in the divorce. We have no kids and the house we live in is in my family's name, so this has been about as clean of a break as you could hope for. WW in this separation period has mentioned to her mom, who is hoping of course that the two of us reconcile, that she might be making a huge mistake. As if that isn't the understatement of the century. She has also talked to me and said that she would like to remain friends, and who knows, maybe in 2-3 years we might be right back together. The audacity. My question to you all is, should I just expose all of this? Should I confront her about it again so she can lie to me some more? Should I just fade quietly into the background as she FCKS up her life this hard? The only problem is, if I expose her on all this poop, ultimately it just hurts a lot of innocent people like her parents and that poor sick wife that just so happens to have sentient turd for a husband. Also, this is a woman who I had loved at least at one time. Is there any way I could prevent her from going though with this? I'm really at a loss. Story 3. Found out about my wife's affair with her coworker. So my wife and I just celebrated our 6 years being married. 10 years together. And we have 2 children. We have not had the smoothest ride during our relationship. Some of which is my fault, some is hers, and some is both of us. We are a strong couple when we are close and things are great, and other times we are weak. Anyways, as of recently plus 2 months, I've noticed small differences in her behavior, timeline, and actions. For instance, she started having to stay late every day for work meetings. She's been getting home later and later, citing traffic as the reason, which doesn't add up to me. Overly eager for me to do things without her. Excessively in the bathroom multiple times in a short period. Long walks with the dog in the cold, which she never did before because she hates the cold. Going out with coworkers often. She never used to go out and now it's every week, coming home late and not answering her phone. So anyways, clearly I knew something was up. I asked her if there was something she needed to tell me and if there was someone else. So said no every time, and convincingly so. Even swore that she would never do that. I was highly upset and skeptical this past Friday. She went out with coworkers and the last call from her was at 8:10 p.m. She said she couldn't hear, but wanted to tell me she was okay, and hung up. I called and texted several times later that night and there was no response. She calls me at 3 a.m. and said she's sorry, fell asleep at a friend's house. That didn't sit right with me at all. I felt something was wrong. Anyways, fast forward to last night, I log into my phone account and immediately see all of these calls and texts from a number that belonged to Rochester, New York. I remember her telling me that her coworker was from Rochester, New York. And she was calling him every time she stepped out to walk the dog, after getting off the phone with me on her way home, and at 9:45 p.m. for 45 minutes that night that she didn't come home until 3 o'clock. Boom, so I wake her up and confront her. She had a dumbfounded and shocked look on her face and lied right to my face. Even with me telling her that I know what's been going on and I know who it's with. Then she tells me, there was someone but there's not anymore, and I called bullpoop on that again. Finally I tell her who it is and her face dropped. She started apologizing profusely, but I just can't accept it. She's hurt me terribly and I don't know what I'm going to do. Now she's telling me he was just a friend and an easy person to talk to, but with how many calls and texts there are, the timing, the days, and the lengths, I feel strongly in my core that it was way more than that and that they slept together. Please let me know your thoughts. Edit 12/15/2021. Thanks so much to everyone with the overwhelming support. This is a very difficult time, and while I am typically strong and sound-minded, I feel incredibly weak, vulnerable, and defeated. It's hard to hold back tears and to not descend into an ever downward spiraling hole of misery. You guys are keeping me afloat. Edit 12/15/2021. Looking at the timeline of the call logs, there are many calls that come to her when she conveniently was away and available for a phone call. But no text to him. So I asked her how she knew how to call him, Snapchat, fake number, etc.? And she denied and avoided the question like I was an idiot. Edit 12/16/2021. Found call logs going back to September late at night with her calling a different guy that we both know. And as far as I knew, she never even had his number. Redditor's reactions update after. Redditor 1, I'm glad you found your way here. You will get great advice. Listen to it. Emotions are high right now, but people who have walked this walk know what they are talking about. Redditor 2, when it comes to long-term relationships, I've noticed that there may be a time where someone may seem more appealing than your partner. Like the grass may be greener on the other side. Or you may be fantasizing about that spark at the beginning of a relationship, with someone other than your partner. It's up to you to stay loyal. To not feed into that BS if someone may be flirty, to shut it down immediately before it leads to something else. She blew it, continued to blow it, and is now even lying about it. It'd be out of there. He's not just a friend. You don't do that with someone of the opposite time when you're in a relationship. She's playing you. Redditor 3, she cheated, don't let her trickle truth you, get STD tested, adults don't kiss or whatever nonsense she tries to sell you. Paternity testing, this may not be the first time, she may just be bolder now. The fact that she didn't tell lied when confronted would have been seeing a lawyer. Update, rant, determined to be strong, 2 weeks and 1 day out from my D-Day. At first I was in a place of darkness, depression, and despair. And now I see the light again. Someone gave me some great advice along the lines of you are stronger than this, reclaim your dignity, and don't let her walk all over you, and those resonated with me deeply. So I carry my head high. I have been working to be positive and uplifting to my children and in my everyday life with friends and at work. Out of respect for myself and her as the mother of my children, I have been working to be cordial while distancing myself emotionally. The problem is, this is easier said than done. The more I worry about myself, I've been working out to exchange the negative emotions into positive energy, taking care of myself with grooming and haircuts, and dressing and smelling nicely. I've been doing this because I firmly believe, sometimes you need to dress good to feel good. Eat good to feel good. Think good to feel good, and etc. And the more I do this, the more it seems she tries to make small talk and get somewhat closer to me. The problem is, I'm a sucker in the sense that I'm so nice, that I don't want to be rude. So I let her in, as to not poop on her for no reason at that moment. And in the end it only ends up ducking with my mind. Just the other day, she told me to let her go and that she doesn't know if she wants to work on this marriage. And she's the one that cheated on me. I mean, the audacity. But fine, I agree to let her go. And then she's messaging me, asking me if I'm ghosting her, when there was nothing to respond to, and continuously coming up to me and not saying much, but more of lingering. And in my head I'm wondering why the hell she is texting me, why is she lingering, what does she want to say? So yesterday I told her, right now, I wish I had the ability to care so little like you do, and she said, who said I don't care, and I just walked away. But really in my mind the answer is your actions coupled with your lack of words. Anyways, I'm trying to be strong, and most days I feel I'm doing well. But then I wonder if there is hope. And then I wonder if I'm doing the hoping for her as well, when that's not my place, and if I should just let it die. Update, she completely dipped out of financial responsibilities. This absolutely sucks. Going through a divorce. My wife had an affair with 2 separate co-workers and an inappropriate relationship with someone that lives in the neighborhood. In other words, she's for the streets. Moving on, we still live together until the lease is up. She has not been contributing towards any of our mutually incurred debts, loans and credit cards, fine, no big deal. She hasn't paid anything towards electric, internet, or car insurance. Last month she was barely able to give me anything towards rent. She gave me like $300, which I just gave back to her to treat my daughter to a mommy-daughter day, because I felt that my daughter could really use that. Fast forward to last week. I asked when she would be sending money towards rent. She says, well, it will have to wait until next week. At that point it would be late. I told her, I surely would have thought that she would be putting money to the side to pay for her bills. Yet it was met with nastiness. She said that she would try to scrounge together some money and send to me. Nope, she sent nothing. Now fast forward to today, last day to pay rent, also the day that she got paid. I asked her when she was sending her rent money and she says this, take the money that you'll be giving me in child support for the month and put it toward rent. Are you kidding me? I am absolutely livid. Over the past 3 months, I have done all I can to stay optimistic, positive, upbeat and a good role model for my children and people going through things like this in general. But this makes me feel defeated. It makes me want to rage. I don't know how much more I can take of this crap. People have their limits. I feel like I'm doing everything above the belt and getting hell handed to me in return. I said a prayer today because it's going to take a force more powerful than this to get through. Update: divorce after wife's affair with her coworker. Update 6/23/2022. I was in a dark place for a few weeks after D-Day. Until I looked at myself in the mirror and said I was better than this. I decided to see her for what she was, and not what I built her up to be. There was no desire effort on her end to reconcile, so I drew the line in the sand. And since that far I implemented the 180 and gray rock method. I severed the emotional attachment and moved forward for me and my children. I made a promise that she wouldn't see me cry again. I filed for divorce and I couldn't be happier for it. Ever since I let her go, everything else in my life has improved. And I mean everything. It was like I was hanging on to a helium balloon in one hand and an anchor in the next. And once I let go of the about, everything else rose up. I have been heavy in the gym and am now the healthiest and strongest I've ever been. I got bikes for the kids and our relationship is absolutely wonderful and we have so much quality time together. I've made new friends and improved relationships with existing friends. I was given more responsibility at my job and increased my salary. Also was able to get a house for my kids and I that we will be moving into in August. Life is good. If anyone needs words of encouragement, someone to relate to, or just to see what's possible, feel free to reach out or check my IG, as I now have gotten back to posting motivational videos like I used to love to do. Redditor's reactions. Redditor 1, I just looked through your history and you have made an incredible turnaround. The betrayal you suffered is so vile and your courage and character are shining through. Good on you for prioritizing your children and your well-being and taking positive steps to move forward. Op answer: thank you so much. When I say I was in a dark place, the first 3 weeks is an understatement. Not being able to think clearly, having a hard time when the world got silent, continuously crying, knowing that I don't have any family in the state to lean on. I was just about gone. But I took what little bit of belief I had left and I doubled the duck down. I made a decision and continue to move forward each damn day. I am so incredibly proud of myself. I didn't even take to the bottle or any drugs. Raw healing on my own, along with the help of Reddit, friends, and family phone calls. Redditor 2, awesome man. Glad it is working out for you. Good on the 180. No time for her BS. She made her bed and now, well, tough poop for her. I do hope she is suffering mentally considering what she has done to you and your marriage. She needs to be remorseful and understand that some of us, many of us, are done putting up with the betrayal. We are better than this. I hope AP is out of her life too. Stay strong. Op answer: no affair partner has still been in her life, she still denies it. But he's over her new apartment while she's crying for me because she missed me according to my children. She told me that she missed me the other day, and I responded that's understandable and that was it. Good riddance. Redditor 3, well done brother, glad you're doing better. Redditor 4, she was dragging you down for quite some time. Glad you are out from under and moving forward. Good luck to you in your future. Op answer: yeah, no lie there. I carried the financial burden for 11 years. Helped her with her schoolwork so she could complete her college degree. Was there for her all the time and rooting her on, just to have a massive dump dropped on me. I have since sanitized my soul and feel fresh. Redditor 5, good for you brother. Hope you got a lawyer for the divorce. Don't try to handle this on your own. I see from your posts that she has been not paying her fair share and is looking to screw you on custody. Op answer: you know what, I took it on the chin with the rent and all of our debts. I agreed to pay her child support and I'm happy for it. Life goes on. We file papers on July 7th and will be divorced 30 days later.